Welcome back, everyone. We now turn our attention over to the case of Anna Walsh, a tragic case. The 39-year-old Massachusetts mother who was reported missing from her home on January 4th. This case garnered nationwide attention after her husband became a person of interest for reportedly lying to the police about his whereabouts and distracting authorities during the investigation. Now, this week in court, a prosecutor with the Norfolk District Attorney's Office charged the husband, Brian Walsh, with murdering and dismembering his missing wife. Prosecutors laid out evidence that led to his charge, including the discovery of a bloody knife in the family's basement. Prosecutors also alleged that he spent $450 on cleaning supplies from the Home Depot on January 2nd. Investigators discovered video evidence of Walsh showing up at the store wearing a mask, surgical mask, gloves, and paid in cash. On top of that, investigators reportedly found search queries on Brian Walsh's internet records for, quote-unquote, how to dispose of a 115-pound woman's body and how to dismember a body. Now, according to law enforcement sources briefed on the investigation, Walsh spoke in court to say he acknowledged the charges and pleaded not guilty. The judge ordered him to be held without bail while his next court date is set for February 9th. We now go to criminal defense attorney Bob Bianchi with more on this case. Bob, it's great to have you. I've got to say, is it typical for a criminal to leave behind paper trails as sloppy as, typing out something so specific as how to dispose of a 115-pound body after you just killed a 115-pound woman? Is that typical to be that sloppy?
Addison, I used to tell my staff when I was the prosecutor that if it wasn't for the stupidity, arrogance, and et al. Of human nature of individuals, we'd all be out of a job. It's very difficult to cover something like this up, and unless you really give it a lot of planning and a lot of plotting, especially if it's something that just happened instantaneously, a crime of passion. I'm not saying that's what's going on here, but it is amazing. When I was trying murder cases back in the day, we didn't have DNA, we didn't have computers and cell phones and all of it. Now everything you do is tracked. But I had to laugh with my wife. I said, how stupid can you be to literally look up how to dispose of a 115-pound woman? It's ridiculous, but it is a very, very obviously powerful piece of evidence.
And as for the rest, the $450 in cleaning supplies, no one is that much. There's not a single clean freak who's that clean in human history. As far as his sentencing goes, if he's found guilty, if he's sentenced, what is he looking at as far as a time of sentence or the death penalty?
Yeah, it depends on whether they're going to file this as a death penalty case, but he's certainly looking with a life without parole. But I want to go back to that $400 because, the cash is interesting. As you just noted, the ski mask, the gloves, the whole thing. But also keep in mind, he was on pretrial release for a federal crime that he was charged with involving a fraud allegation. And by him going to that Home Depot, he was violating his terms of pretrial release. So that's going to be a big factor. Like, who would go and get their cleaning supplies when they could wind themselves back up in jail on a federal charge for violating that court order? But nevertheless, if they've got a strong enough case, they'll make a decision as to whether they want to file the death penalty or not. But it's a life without parole, as far as I'm concerned, at a minimum.
Now, I want to also get your comment on this, switch to something a little less gruesome here, Bob. We have Flo Rida. He is a rapper, I believe, by trade, a professional artist, singer, whatever you want to call him. He just won a lawsuit against the energy drink company Celsius. It was awarded quite a bit of money in damages. Now, he sued Celsius because of this ongoing dispute about payment that he said he never received as part of a partnership, a brand deal. Celsius was saying they paid him. What do we know about this lawsuit? Clearly he won out and Celsius did not pay him what they said they were going to pay him.
Addison, this was an $82 million judgment. And when I read it, I said to myself, I can just tell you from a personal level, that I should have, when I had the chance when I was younger, taken the career path of a rapper rather than a lawyer. But it is really an unbelievable story. I mean, I know contract cases don't sound like that unbelievable, but Flo Rida was basically saying, and who would imagine you could get these kind of deals, is that this energy company, I gave my endorsement, my promotion, and the contractual agreement was that I should have been receiving up to 750,000 shares of this company that now does a $1.5 billion in annual sales that Flo Rida said at the time that he entered into this deal, they weren't worth a dollar. He basically says that they actually had a drink called Flow Fusion, I think it is, so on and so forth, and that he is entitled to those shares. And a jury agreed with him and awarded him the $82 million. It really is an incredible case to think of. The idea, Flo Rida was saying that, I could have endorsed other energy companies, more well-established companies. I took a risk by putting my brand, my name, my cachet, if you will, into this company, and they didn't pay me the money that they were entitled to. Of course, Celsius said, no, that agreement was over with. You're not entitled to anything. But here, regardless of the facts, the jury has made the decision, and Flo Rida is sitting on an $82 million judgment.
Wow, $82 million. So if I hear it right, Bob, the company was worth virtually nothing when he signed on to partner with them, and then they exploded on the scene. Is that right?
That's basically the argument that they were making, that if it wasn't for the endorsement of Flo Rida, a company that was basically worth nothing would not have gotten to where they are. Celsius tried to argue that, no, it was a deal with Anheuser-Busch. But what Flo Rida was saying is that you wanted me for a reason, to put you on the map, to millions of followers, and all the other things that happened were the result of what I had done, and you had agreed to compensate me through stock shares in terms of royalties and things of that nature, and you didn't do it. So the jury made the call that Flo Rida was correct. So in addition to all the other, look, Addison, one other thing that made me laugh about this is that me and you may be in the wrong game here, because he only realized this, Flo Rida, when COVID occurred, and he had nothing better to do at his house, and he was going through all of his various business deals and looking into them, and he's like, wait a minute, this company really is making a lot of money. Did I get what I was entitled to? I wish me and you could be in that position of luxury to look into something and see that we lost out on $82 million and got it. I mean, how many deals this guy is doing, God only knows, but he made a lot of money, obviously.
Yeah, I agree, Bob. Maybe we'll have to meet up after this. I'll give you a call. We can plot something that's going to line our pockets the way Flo Rida is able to. Bob Bianchi from Law and Crime Network. Always great to have you on the show. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.